Rudy Shoushany, thank you. Thank you for joining me on the Courage to Fall podcast. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I remember a few weeks ago where I attended a, a, a side chat and picked up your book, Ruling the World in My Pajamas. I was hoping that would say ruling my world in my pajamas. Ruling the world in my pajamas sounded wow.
ليك في
I thought,
عندي في عند I have a new diversion هلا the
yeah,
minister of technology asked me to do ruling the world in my شروال so
oh, that would be cool too. Yeah.
Lebanese.
So, if for the people who don't know you, uh, pick an angle, one of your lives, let's say, because Smallah, as they say, I read your biography and knowing you from prior, you're very active in a lot of places. Which angle would you like to take today? How would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers and listeners?
uh, أول شيء first thanks for being with us يعني I think this is very important لأنه it gets you to where I hope this discussion will give us a glimpse of maybe where the future is going and then what you need to do. This is what I hope. That's one of them. What one of the hats is, or the major hat is, I'm a technology consultant, 25 years, strategies in the technology field. So I've seen the world of, you name it, any technology. For me, AI is just an add-on, even though it's one of the most maybe important add-on to those technologies or emerging technologies. But I don't treat it, as well. AI is AI by itself. And I do a lot of technology governance in that aspect to make sure that whatever technology you are deploying, it's being deployed with the right way, with the right frameworks, the right um, standards. Because every time, especially now, we see it more. Every time I go to a customer and then we try to consult him, for them thinking that let's deploy AI, it's that easy. It is that easy, but 90% or 95% we're failing, or it's failing because there's no real governance, and then there's no real use case, and then the data is not structured well, and so on and so on. So this is one of the main umbrellas. Of course, I teach and I train on all of those from private companies. Myself, I have different trainings where I offer. I work with different associations within the Middle East, most importantly in UAE and uh, Saudi. And now we're moving into Qatar and Kuwait. Now, with the situation, all of this is halted. That said, I do a lot of digital policy work. I do a lot of mentoring. I do a lot of um, coaching. I'm a recent writer, as you said, for a book which opened a new space for me, which is I never imagined it would help, or it would open that eye opener. I do a lot of advocacy on the digital aspect, digital divide, empowering women, and so on. And I work a lot with youth, empowering youth. I think this is my favorite topic because I really want them to stay with all of the challenges in Lebanon. So that's
Wonderful, wonderful. That's plenty. As you were describing your spectrum, I'm trying to find a one very specific niche, one very Rudy uh, pinned. Uh, going through your book, you have several chapters. It's sometimes it's almost how to do things or why you do things. Sometimes it's inspirational. You go from talking about yourself to what's an entrepreneurial vision, and then fearless and how to deal with obstacles on your journey, and so on until you hit future taking leaps and going forward. What what I would like to focus on is obstacles on the journey
Yeah.
and not necessarily looking back, Rudy. What is relevant today and not with everyone in the world? What is relevant today with you? That's what I would be interested in, and probably the listeners and the viewers would be interested. The challenges today and real challenges, right? I'm gonna allow me to push you, right? A little bit. Real challenges and not the ones that are obvious to everyone and not necessarily you've gotten out of, but how
Yeah.
are you thinking about getting out of them?
Yeah, that's a deep question. Before I answer that, um, the book was made to help those entrepreneurs um, gain from my experience, but I didn't make it about me. That was very important point of view because it's not about me. The book. It's about how I can help you to maneuver these challenges which I faced, and then I put them for reference for people to be able to succeed. And when you mentioned fear or being fearless, and somewhere along the line is taking no for an answer, because that was something I put in my head always. Um, for example, I want something from somebody, and then in my mind, in my state of mind, who asked me, I would say he will refuse. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't know me. What else? Maybe he's doesn't like to share. Maybe he's arrogant. Maybe. I put a lot of maybe.
Who's he in this case? Who
Whoever,
is he?
whoever. I want something
Okay.
from somebody, and
Ah,
that was a challenge in my life, and that's why I wrote this book part of it. And then until today, I'm being challenged in that part, but that's not my main challenge anymore. um, Asking, because 90% of the time you don't ask out of fear of what you will answer me. Tony, I want your laptop for a week, right? Very simple.
mhm.
I would say, no, maybe Tony, he's using it. Tony, he has work on it. Maybe you have a spare laptop. Maybe that's 1%, 10%, whatever it is. So we might find solutions with communications. And that's what we usually fall into and then try, uh, go out of. Now,
So
asking, ask,
asking,
asking and not being
tell
fearless.
me more.
And sometimes asking once and being shy, maybe second time, maybe they didn't read it, maybe it didn't notify, maybe they read it and they forgot about it. So do an extra step. It's kind of a sales aspect, when you learn sales. And then, by the
Mhm,
way, I never in my life worked sales. I had to learn the skills of sales, and that's one
mhm,
of them. You don't just throw an email or give a phone call and then end it there. If you do that, you will fail. So it's the same mentality and how you can approach someone in a very open-hearted, very cool way and very decent way, and then try to get the output that you want. Was it sales or was it whatever it is? And in our perspective is how can you capitalize the network that you have? And that's a
mhm.
big thing, right? Because now we have a network. So how can I, in a very decent way, make it to my benefit? And this is very important. So when you roam out of all of those, you come to different challenges. And then, for example, today, I mentioned it openly in the opening. We have a whole new challenge, which is imagine that you have invested the last 6 years of my life, for example, into going to the Gulf states and then being known there and then, try to get business. And all of a sudden, on the 1st of, let's say, March or end of February, you woke up, you don't have that option. It's gone. All right. And then we had planned events, we had planned meetings, projects, everything is canceled. And that's because sometimes we work for planning next year, or which is 2026, and now you woke up technically to a certain point, half of 2026 is cancelled. So that's a challenge by itself now. And how do you roam this? How do you now try to innovate? Because this is where innovation comes in. You are destroyed to a certain point, of course, hoping that tomorrow peace will be in the region. But in reality, it might not happen. But you cannot sit down and then wait for it to happen, because things to kick off needs 2 to 3 months. And now we are in June, July, August. August is kind of vacation mode, and then you woke up, you're in September, and then you have 2 3 months, which is a very short year, and then this is the year. So now that's maybe as my current current problem, but that's one of the problems, of course.
I love this problem. Right. I don't like the problem, but I like that it is so clear with what you said. Okay, allow me. One, you have this issue of you were booked, and now let's say you're not booked as a solopreneur, and allow me to give you that label as a solopreneur, right? In this case, unless you have a big company, which I'm not aware of, but uh, you're the brand, right? Today, you are the brand.
Yeah, part of it is Amazon.
You do not have, you had a lot of bookings, and those bookings have been canceled.
Yeah,
One, in the region, meaning the Arab region, the GCC. And two, you mentioned the whole concept of asking. And how do I ask? Ask meaning sell, and what would the other person think? In this case, it's not a laptop, it's probably another service or a product you're selling.
exactly.
And that other person, what if that other person is in Bahrain and they're worried about their family? What if that person is in Dubai and they're used to a certain lifestyle and now it has been disrupted? Uh, right? And
Yeah,
three is your assets. And in in your case, it's your network. Your network is an asset. How do you ask the asset? How do you leverage the asset? How do you ask the asset to get you either booked or innovate something new? And under all these three elements is the whole umbrella of innovation.
yeah.
And
And
Rudy
innovation
Shoushany today,
part. Innovation for
pardon,
me is a big part, the innovation part.
tell me more about if you accept to take that scenario. Tell me more about innovation within that scenario, within that problem. What is the thought process that
Yeah.
you're going through today? How would you
Innovation.
get out of this?
Yeah. How to get out of this. Exactly. It is how to get out of this. But I can sit down and then, and do nothing, wait for it, which I can technically afford financially, and I have the time. I can sit down for the next year and do nothing. But that's not who I am. But in the same time, that's what I won't say most of the people, a big chunk of people are doing. Well, this is the reality. Some people will start immigrating, will start applying for immigration as a long-term process. I have two nationalities that I can leave now and then finish from that problem today. That's not the problem. But the whole issue is how to stay, and then how to always grab new opportunities, and that's the thought process. And this is where uh, is divided into two things. The first thing is I double down on the new skills. I really double down on the news because I have some time now. So because everything is canceled, what do? I double down on really some new AI skills that as much as I dove deep in the AI, from tools perspective, from algorithms perspective, I never created something as an application.
Mm,
So now I'm innovating on the application side, on maybe on
nice.
4 or 5 levels. All right. So that's one thing. And secondly is how to open new markets. And this is where now I'm starting to think, even though, it's a regional problem at this point of time, maybe because how it is evolving in few weeks, it might become a World War III. We will never know. And then it will affect everyone. So at the current stage, I'm trying to see how to open new markets, how to find new ways of possibly first monetizing those applications that we're creating. And the second, also the experience that we have, how can we export it to Europe? To I'm Canadian. How can I knock back on the Canadian side to open new business opportunities? Since, well, who would have imagined one country is down, two countries are down, seven, eight, nine, the whole GCC, the whole Middle East is like out of work, and there's no flights, barely anything to move. So that's the part, and then how to do it digitally. All right.
Okay.
So the innovation is happening on the digital front, of course, as a resource. But in the same time, I have a small team that is helping me on different things. Was it on the media company or was it on the technology side? But in the end of the day, it's about me always. And then how to push and navigate. And this is where I also partnered with a couple of people on. Previously, we were thinking about it, but now it's executed and activated, because they are in the same somehow in the same boat, same thinking process. So let's try to innovate in the space. I personally never created an application in terms of a business application. So now I've created a lot of applications for um, process, for operations, for whatever, but never as a process for selling as a subscription and so on and so on. So that's one thing. And then we still have the core of what I do. Was it on training? Now I have a meeting after we finish this. We're creating a new program with the EU. It was physical. It was moved now online. It's going to continue. So we're onboarding new skills for certain teams, local teams, so we can help them. But the whole program has moved digital, so we will continue, which is a good way. And until then, we have to move day by day. But in the end of the day, I know that the pipeline will be busier if, again, because the reality of things, this is the wishful and hopeful and executive and execution thing that we want, but the reality of what's happening, and I told you before off the camera, we might be at any point of time issued a warning to leave your home, right? I'm in that critical point of life. Even though I'm a bit far, I do see the war, what's happening. But in the reality of it, you never know how this whole schizophrenia war will happen, because the counterparties that are fighting, they don't have well, I don't want to say a god. They have God, yes, of course, but it seems their God is a bit materialistic to a point where killing and displacing and whatever, which is part of the realities of what we live in. We went back 3,000, 4,000 years of bad history, and then we are in 2026 now. So imagine that conflict of where you want to be and how you want to innovate, and at the same time how you want to survive, how you want to protect your family, and all of those, which are, I'm sure many of you are facing also, and maybe some of you are already affected. So it's not as easy.
So going back to it, it sounds like you're partnering. So
Yeah.
there's something to do with your network. You're partnering with other people. You're innovating on the product level. Are you looking into the same region, but offering them a different product, a different service that might suit these times of uncertainties?
No, It's not about the current uncertainty. It's about making life better. And I have three projects on the table, and one of them is GCC specific, and one is global perspective, and the other one is kind of in between global and regional. So it depends on the reach. But this time we're thinking even more global. We hope we have some success, as we mentioned, because thinking global is a bit constrained if you don't have the whole elements. We have I think a great idea, and then let's see how the execution works, and that demands at one point of time, and then we put it part of the planning even that it will be registered in the US.
Hmm.
Okay, and then we're touching or we're knocking the doors of Y Combinators. So otherwise, the success percentage of this idea will not take off. So either this way, so early possible. Otherwise, we're not gonna push more and invest more if it's not happening this way. So we're trying to give it the much more success. Otherwise, if it doesn't happen in this way and it doesn't go global from that perspective, it's going to be very, very, very tough. I won't say it won't succeed, but it's going to be very, very tough to make it.
What's your dream situation today when it gets to work? Business side of things. Today, as you stand, what would make you happy? Meaning you smile happily, given all the situation.
Right now, I wish I'm on any beach, just having some nice sun, vitamin D or vitamin C, if I want to call it, and then uh, for me, one of the major parts, I think I'm on in that level where I would really love to retire early,
Oh,
and and then really enjoy just stay somewhere and then travel the world, which I already traveled more than 55 countries, and that 55 countries maybe I'll repeat them because each country I've visited has a value, and I love it on that perspective. Uh, Maybe soon we will know. I still have part of 5 years plan to do that. It was before. It wasn't a 5 years plan. 2019 destroyed a lot of um, the plans also. So we were shaken every year or two or every 3 years. We're shaken, and then you have to
yeah.
rebalance and then remove. But my idea was to early retire, and then while having something, of course, working parallel, you just touch base, and then you have a team that is working on it, and that's the ideal, situation, I would
So
say.
early retire on a beach somewhere, travel the world,
Yeah,
uh, g- even uh, gain more experiences or experience life more.
I love life experiences. That's if you want to call it. If I wasn't, what I do today, maybe I would have been. Now it's famous the travel bloggers and so on and so on.
Yes, yes. Ah, you
I
wanted
don't
to be a travel blogger.
maybe, but not
Okay.
for the perspective of blogging but from the perspective of discovering. I said once even if I didn't do technology, computer science back then, I wanted to do what's call it. I wanted to do not history, archaeology,
Archaeology.
because I love
Okay.
history. I love stories. I love to visit countries and then dive in a lot. So I didn't do it, and I love technology in the same time, but that's a different. It gets you disconnected from the reality aspects of how things.
You could always be, the role. You can always be Indiana Jones.
Ah,
You know, an academic, a tech guy. Well, tech at the time, and he went and
discovered. Yeah, I
went
love.
into went into the pyramids or wherever it was, whichever movie it was. So you're more like an Indiana Jones. If you have that life, would that be
Yeah,
enjoyable for you?
Yeah, I would. You just need to make
I
sure
knew it.
you just need to make sure you can sustain it in a way. I love discoveries. I really love, but I don't. I don't like to sit down. That's the whole idea. When I say sitting on the beach, just to relax because the mind now is like. But every few weeks, maybe have a place to go back, and then which is a beach place, and then try to cool down, and then so on, and then recharge your batteries, and then jump again on the next adventure. I'd call it. That would be, of course, ideal. We're not there yet, so let's see what happens
Are
within
you
the.
not there yet? Are you? Because
No,
the
I am
way
there.
the
In
way
my,
you
no, I'm
explain your
privileged. No, no, I have to say I'm privileged. I live it somewhere or another, some way or another. I
Mhm.
travel more than 5 6 times a year on vacation, not just from the business perspective. And then I tend to shut down the GPS even, and then discover, just get lost on the street, on the way. Was it on motorbike? Was it on the car? Or whatever, wherever the road takes you. So it's really interesting. It's that personal aspect of what makes you maybe want to survive. So you have that thrill of that adventure that's coming, the next adventure. So now we're planning our next adventure. For me, I call it an adventure.
Mhm.
And then what's the next adventure, how it goes and where it goes. Now, of course, it was shut down. Then we have to think of another place and then try to discover in a different way.
Can I be candid with you?
Yalla.
I feel that maybe, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I sense that maybe it's a short-term exhaustion regarding the area.
Yes, yes, of course.
I have this feeling because the adventure, as soon as you take that walk on the beach and drink your favorite beverage and get a little bit of vitamin D, and we log in again, you're gonna tell me I'm hitting the road and I don't know what, and I would feel that you would have another perspective on this. Maybe I'm wrong.
Uh, no, no. Exhaustion is always there. Um, when you work with in the technology field and you are already in a field that is moving super fast. All right. There's two
Mm,
choices.
mm,
Two choices. You move with
mhm.
it, and if you want to move in it the right way, you have to be really. It's an exhaustive way, and then with the set with that, the networking, what comes with the events, and so on and so on. And you can decide to exit, okay,
Mhm.
and chill, and then whatever the future takes you. But I'm at that point of time, I have not resigned. I don't want to resign, as I said. I want an adventure, of course. But what I want is always to be on that forefront of technology, which is by itself exhaustion. And add to it
Yes, yeah,
situation of wars, add to it a situation of trying to make up. I'm an entrepreneur only 6 years. Okay. So
impressive,
I have
impressive, yeah.
had to make up the last 20 years before my last 6 years, which I was employed and stuck in organizations and so on, to also, because of age, because of achievements, because of so many things. It's not about shortcuts. It's about you have to work double. You have to work maybe even more. In my book, I say ditch the 9 to 5, but in reality, I work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mhm.
So that also is a burning kind of sensation. That's why I really look forward to when I say I switch off my engine and then just cool down on one of those. That's why it's around 4 to 5 uh, adventures per year. And they are really adventures.
They're enough? 4 to
Yeah.
5? That's
That-
great.
That's why I said it's never enough.
Tell us about,
Yeah.
like,
Imagine
one.
going to Bali, for example, for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, 2 weeks is nice. But then there you have that urge of staying maybe a month, maybe two, maybe three. So
Uh, why Bali specifically, and why
Just
2 or
that's
3?
one of those beautiful countries or cities,
Nice.
let's call it, and then you can replicate it. I was in Milan last week, or not last week, last month, in Lago de Como. All right,
Yeah.
the middle of the winter, and it was beautiful. So imagine having that idea, and I have to stay. 4 days is not enough in Lake Como. We went for a week. It wasn't enough, so we needed more. And then how can you stay more? You need to go back to the other reality that you have, and then fight your fight, and then come back again. Well earned time off, and then another discovery where you shut down and then you wind down. So, which is kind of a cycle. It happens, and then I'm able. Funny enough, I discovered, and then you mentioned burning, or uh, not just burning. It comes with it the mental part, mental. What do you call it? Mental health. It comes with depression. It comes, all of those, they come in as in the game. And then I learned to go in, of course, but then exit fast. All right, because the
Go
way
in where and exit
out,
fast.
you fall in somehow some sort of a depression, some sort of a
Yeah.
burning, some sort of whatever. But then the big success, because we're all humans, and then whatever we're faced in, and then the whole part of too much happening and so on, it gets you into that burning faster. But then I have to learn how to exit faster. So the minute
When you
you
say I
realize,
have to learn when you say I have to learn to exit fast, it shows that you are aware of
yes,
where you are, and you're aware that you need to exit, and that's already a plus, I think. Now, when you say I have to learn, have you learned? I mean, how much do you know, or how what do you do to exit from whatever thoughts you're having? I'm not going to say negative thoughts, but thoughts that bring us down, thoughts that challenge us, sometimes borderline giving up of one thing or another. What do you do?
uh, there's so many things depending of what is the current burner problem, and then there are so
Okay,
many.
good.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like for now, I've been home for the last 7 days, just to give you a small example.
Oh, you haven't gone out.
No,
Wow.
okay. So,
COVID
and it was
like,
cold.
يعني.
It was cold. It is
Yes.
cold, but
Yeah.
yesterday sun, and then today is another sun. So now, after I finish, I have another meeting, and then I'm exiting to nature. Actually, I did go out to nature last week. That was 7 days ago, and I'm
Mm.
going back again just to recharge, and then the scene. And then now is my plan. I fixed the bike yesterday, and then I want to put it back into routine. Just to it's very small, subtle changes
Yeah.
that will give you that small exit from the current situation, this current situation. For other situations, when you are overworking, delivering, or whatever, maybe a small vacation could exit. Maybe a small stop. You have to breathe because you got a lot on your mind. Maybe a small walk. Maybe a small routine change. It varies in different things. Could be so small, and could be to a point where uh, I just I can't take it anymore. I need to leave, and then I go for a small vacation, and I come back super refreshed for the next whatever it is. It's the reality of how things we face, and then we live in the pressure, the adaptation, the fast living that we are in. Uh, you just have to be aware, and then this is what you said is exactly the point where everyone is. Sometimes some people, they cannot be aware about themselves. It's a biological sometimes. Thank God I don't have anything biological. It's more of a kind of current situations, so much happening. How do you play to maneuver those in a positive way, in a positive mental health, and then exit this whole drastic situation that you're in a way where you win. You always, you always win.
I like the whole idea of learn how to. Looks you're saying it clearly that you're learning from the falls, you're learning from the challenges, and you're hacking it by doing tiny things versus one big thing, or awaiting the one big adventure. You're doing the smaller things, including preparing your bike for rides. Did you say?
Yeah, I have to get it back. So yesterday I fixed it, inflated the wheels, and then it's ready. Possibly today or tomorrow, start to have a small routine to exit the house with the current situation.
Is this a bicycle or a motorbike?
No, no, it's a bicycle. Bicycle.
Nice, nice.
Now the
That'll
weather is better, so you can,
slightly
maneuver.
better. Yes. Rudy, this is still going unless this has been very candid and different from what I hope the listeners and the viewers will see a different side of Rudy. Uh, and I thank you for being transparent, candid, and straightforward. It's not easy. It's not easy on almost all of us, many of us. I hope that the listeners and viewers would be inspired, or they would feel, hey, it seems like we're all struggling with one thing or another,
And
for
then
sure.
we're talking, me and you, we're talking, we're still home. People are on the streets.
I know.
That's another
That's
dimension
another.
didn't
Yes.
mention.
Yes.
What are we doing there? Also, that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But on a positive note, where's your next adventure? Where's that beach? Which beach would you want to go to?
Well, it was planned in April for Sharm el Sheikh for 10 days. Last time I was in Sharm el Sheikh, I was there for 45 days.
45 days?
Yeah.
Vacation or you worked? Come on.
Both. Well, it's both.
Okay.
We can do both,
Okay.
right? I can be sitting in the pool and doing work.
Okay.
So it was kind of a mix of so many things. Yeah, it was Sharm el Sheikh again, but then now due to the current situation, definitely it's gone. So we're looking where to go. As I told you, I was in Italy less than a month ago, and that was amazing. Um, I don't know, maybe Far East Vietnam. We're looking into some different the new destinations. I always like to try new destinations and expand my reach, hoping to reach 100 countries while being alive. I'm halfway.
Nice. And when you're saying we're looking, is that the royal you or we, you, and someone
Me
else?
and my wife. Me and my wife. I love to
Ah,
travel.
okay. Now we know.
My
Okay.
better half. my
And she
my.
travels. She's an adventurer like you.
Well, I'm the adventurer. She just joined the rides and then enjoy the
Cool.
benefits of the adventure. And that's kind of because I drive a lot outside. I have three different international driving licenses from different places, and then I know the rules. And then she's always, "How do you maneuver the roads? How do you understand?" It's simple things, but when you're out, it's like they become kind of a big hustle. How do you maneuver them, and then how do you discover? So yeah, that's kind of. And then sometimes, as I said, we're on the motorbike. Sometimes we're on a quad 4x4. Sometimes we're on a boat. Sometimes so the adventure just moves wherever and however you want it to move.
Rudy, this has been very, very inspiring. Uh, any last thoughts?
In the current situation, I would say yes. I want to highlight a couple of things. I was reading a report 2 days ago, and then I have to open it because I have to uh, go back to it. It was released by Anthropic,
Okay.
which is Claude. For those who know that, they released theoretical capability observed and theoretical and observed capabilities by occupational category that AI will touch base. So the minute they release that report, because I don't know, I'll send it to you. Uh, okay, so they released this.
Okay.
Anyway, it's not showing right.
I can't send it. Yeah, it's not showing.
Yeah, yeah. The minute they released it, because they put two dimensions, I started researching on the third dimension, which is robotics.
Okay.
Okay? So technically, this report is about what jobs will be technically affected within the next 3 years. And from management will be affected business, finance, computer, math, architecture, life, legal, arts and media, some healthcare, any office admin work, and some of the sales. What they witnessed now is office admins, some of the sales, computer math, business and finance, the legal, arts, and some education is currently being affected. So I wanted to add the dimension because I didn't like it because it's a very short-sighted dimension. I wanted to add the robotics dimension. Then it shows
Okay.
maybe more of realistic what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So why I'm saying this, because everything is currently changing. The world is, of course, is changing as we speak, but with the world of artificial intelligence and then soon later robotics and so on and so on, you have to know how to maneuver the next wave of disruption. And then this is what we're living in. We're living in a disruptive world. It's no longer the same. It's not just long cycles, it's very short cycles that is changing everything. So, working on your, of course, mental health is maybe, and your physical, of course, not forgetting the physical part, or health as in general is maybe the priority number one. But also, how can you position yourself in this ever changing, disruptive world so that you can always be valid and then try to make it and succeed? Because if we're seeing now, if you work in admin job or in any office or any sales, soon AI will take over. Yesterday or last week, cybersecurity was affected, and then the stock market of cybersecurity fell billions of dollars because now AI can do it fully automated without anything. You just need one person supervising the whole cybersecurity field. So this is gonna keep on happening and keep on happening. But the big question is, what is our role within the next 10 years? Where is the human part? At least you guys that are listening, what decision you will take so that you're always on the forefront of this ever changing and disruptive world so that you can always remain valid. And one of the major parts is how not to sell time. Okay. And this is where I am also in that equation. That's why I partnered with three different people because I always had it in my mind. How can we not sell time? How can we sell kind of products, whatever they are, especially now with digital age? And funny enough, I discovered it firsthand with my book that I have a digital product, even though it's a physical, but it's available on digital, Amazon or whatever. And then now you can digitize it anywhere and then start selling. So how can you think in that perspective of uh, working towards creating something and then putting it up there and then making it a success?
Thank you. Rudy Shoushany, mentor, advisor, investor, trainer, entrepreneur, adventurer, you
I
name it.
must add
Thank you
this
very much.
to my titles.
So, whatever I learned today.
No, no, I must
Um,
add the adventurer part. Thank
yeah,
you for the.
You should, because that was so striking. That was so prominent in our conversation. Thank you very much. Thank you for your candor and for being open and for sharing your thoughts, emotions, and future looking ideas.
Thank you. You can
See
reach
you
me
soon.
at any social media. I'm open, and then I do respond on anything you guys ask. And if you take my book, you can directly book me. Also, that's one of the privileges. of having the book is direct access to mentorship also, which not many know. And then I've been booked couple of times, and then I was happy they are using the tool in the right way.
Excellent. And it'll be the link to the book will be in the
Thank
look
you.
down, up, whatever, left, right, telling everyone to. See you, Rudy. Thanks.